Miracle of the Roses, written and performed by Patricia Feiteira. This is one of many versions of a true tale from the 13th century which I learned from my grandmother. A long, long time ago, in Portugal, there was a king called Dinis. On a beautiful morning, the king decided to go for a walk in one of the gardens of his vast kingdom. The sun was shining, and the slight breeze brought the smell of flowers to his nose. The birds were singing gracious melodies. It was then that he saw the most beautiful girl wandering through the garden and collecting red roses, lost in her own thoughts. He was mesmerized with such beauty and decided to go up to her and find out who she was. The young woman was Isabel of Aragon, so it didn't take long until the king decided to send a letter to her father asking for her hand in marriage. And so the marriage was arranged. Dinis was considered a very good and fair king. However, like many of the men at that time, he was also very serious and strict. Isabel, on the other hand, was a very sweet young woman with a very kind heart, who was known for her good deeds. She spent her time visiting and treating the ill, giving to the homeless, and helping the poor by giving them alms and bread to eat. The two got married, but from that day the king prohibited her from carrying on with her good deeds, as he thought that was not appropriate or worthy of a queen.
"But my lord, I want to keep helping our people. Please let me."
No queen of mine is going to be giving out food to the poor. Your job, as my wife and Queen of Portugal, is to stay by my side and to have my children and raise them.
As she couldn't make the king change his mind, Isabel came up with a plan to keep helping the needy. At that time, the king and queen didn't sleep in the same room, so for several months she managed to hide from her husband what she was doing. She carried on with her routine of getting up in the dark in the middle of the night and quietly going downstairs to the kitchen where the baker already had the warm bread ready to go. Then she would hide that freshly made bread inside the folds of her dress and sneak out of the castle, avoiding the royal guards and going out to the streets, distributing the bread to the poor, to then quickly come back before dawn, before everyone else in the castle started waking up. However, the king eventually started to notice that the queen was getting up very frequently in the middle of the night and started to suspect that something strange was going on. One night, when Isabel was like usual going to the kitchen to get the bread for the poor, Dinis heard her footsteps through the wooden staircase and decided to follow her. He looked through the kitchen window and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. The cook putting loaves of bread on her dress. Lots of them.
"Isabel, how could you? I told you were not allowed. You disobeyed me."
The queen froze for a few seconds and then, muddled, she said,
"It is not what you think, my king."
He turned to the cook.
"And you, what do you have to say about this? I can't believe you too ignored my orders."
The cook stayed absolutely silent. Dinis then looked deep into Isabel's big brown eyes, just on the verge of crying.
"Now, tell me, Isabel, if it's not what I think, why is there bread inside your dress?"
"There's no bread in my dress, I promise. There are roses, my lord."
"That's impossible. You are lying to me. I saw the bread the cook gave to you. Stop lying to me and show me what's inside your dress."
The queen hesitated for a moment and then finally let go of the dress fold she was holding.
"They are roses, my lord."
The dress unrolled itself to the ground to reveal not bread, but in fact a cluster of beautiful red roses, such as the one she was speaking the day the king first saw her and fell in love with her. The king, astonished by such an event, took it as a miracle and a sign from God that his queen should carry on with her kind deeds and that he should support her as well. And from that day onwards, the people began to call her Holy Queen Isabel, or simply the Holy Queen.